And good morning. Welcome to Colona Now Live. I'm Jason Mann with Jim Check, and here we are for your Tuesday morning. Check on your forecast and roads coming up shortly. First off, look at the headlines this morning. And City Council, it's official, has voted in favor of stricter rules for short-term rentals, and that's the whole Airbnb kerfuffle that happened in
They
November.
said they were waiting for additional information from the provincial government, and during the Monday afternoon meeting, City Council voted in favor of not allowing short-term rentals to operate as a principal or secondary land use in Kelowna's mixed use and residential zones.
But there were some accommodations
or
exceptions.
So there's a few exceptions to these rules, and they go into effect May 1, 2024. Under these new rules, staff recommended that the 498 currently licensed secondary use short-term rentals should be allowed to continue operating in Kelowna even after May 1 with a legally non-conforming status, provided they meet the provincial principal residence requirements. So that means
live in your Airbnb.
You have to live in that Airbnb, the residence in which the individual resides, for a longer period of time in any calendar year than any other place. So I don't know what that means. So if you stayed anywhere else long, like say someplace for a month, as long as you stay in
it's your principal residence on your tax return.
Yeah, there you go. So the report also says the Local Government Act establishes non-conforming uses, and the city has identified 13 properties where principal and permitting non-conforming uses apply. Come May 1, protection to non-conforming use property will no longer apply to the STRs that are not following the province's principal residence rules. The council also directs staff to follow up at a future meeting with a report outlining specific properties that may be eligible for potential request to the provincial government for exemption status. So they're saying maybe? I don't know. Any STR license, short-term rental license, that were renewed this year will only be valid till April 30th, 2024.
Okay.
Be interesting to see how this plays out. We do have JP Letnick coming in on Monday, local realtor here, to talk about just this, the short-term rentals. So he has a lot to say.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to that. Stats Canada says our inflation rate has risen to 3.4% as rent prices, flight costs, all driven by energy, have increased. Now, why does it feel like it's more than 3.4%, Jim?
Well, I think inflation should start heading down. We can see that the little graph we have up there, like the dark blue is December 2023. The light blue is November of 2023, and you can see that stuff is coming off. Like if we look at the food, it's about even. Shelter's the tough one, right? Like, as rent just keeps going up, we add 1 million people to the population. Obviously, it's going to cause some stress, right? And
not as much elasticity.
A lot of economists now are coming out and saying, including a lot of the large banks, and saying, yes, adding a lot of people, like the immigration policies, have definitely stressed our rental properties. So household furnishings and equipment, that's been dropping. Clothing and footwear. Footwear, I think, on clothing, that I think will continue to come down. Transportation, we should see a lot of that coming down as well, because auto manufacturers are now offering lots of incentives to buy new vehicles. So, so I think we're going to trend in the right way. But as far as this report goes, there's a little blip there. I would think that you're going to see that stuff starts to come down. British Columbia's rate was 3.4 in December, higher than November's 3.2. So a lot of this is energy related for sure as well. Right. So, and rent is the biggest thing. Rent prices being up 7.7%, 8.6 in BC. So again, rent driving most of it, right? Rent and food, right? So alcohol, cannabis, tobacco up 4.3%. And it's going to go higher because they're putting that new tax on. So
that's April 1st, right? I think there's additional taxes coming April 1st anyways. Well, last night, the Colona Fire Department was busy as they knocked down a fully involved blaze at a workshop office in Colona. That was Monday night, last night.
Yeah. The fire was around the 900 block of Leadhead Road, quickly contained. It was reported around 8:30 at night. When the crews got there, it was a fully involved structure, heavy smoke, visible flame. Nobody injured in the fire. Cause of the fire unknown. Investigators still on the scene this morning. 4 engines and 1 rescue unit, and a safety unit, and a command unit showed up.
A few fires in the last
Here's big news.
Oh, yeah. Well, BC Media definitely feeling the pinch with Bill C-18, and BC newspaper publisher Black Press has filed for creditor protection and announced that they are for sale.
So to us locally, that means Kelowna Capital News.
That's right.
Yeah. So
a lot of small publications.
Yeah.
For
So
the
they
province.
own dozens of community newspapers across Western Canada, and it entered creditor protection and secured a tentative sale. And founder David Black is calling it a day. He's retiring. So it's a Surrey-based publisher, and as part of the proceedings under the company's creditors arrangement, has entered into a sales agreement with Canso Investment Council, Dean's Knight Capital Management, and Carpenter Media Group. It says it'll seek court approval to launch a sales solicitation process with the sale agreement to the three investors acting as a backdrop. So David Black, who founded Black Press in 1975, said his family believes they're leaving the publisher in good hands. The company publishes about 150 daily and weekly newspapers and magazines and websites, including Abbotsford News, Surrey Now, the Leader, Yukon News, and, of course, the Kelowna Capital News, which is locally, right? It also has publications in Washington, Hawaii, Alaska, and it said it will seek recognition of the CCAA proceedings in the U.S. as well under the Credit Protection Act. Yeah, so there you go.
And more than 100 wildfires are still active after BC's record wildfire season.
Yeah, so when you get a lot of fires, and the fires will burn deep into the ground when they go like in the peat and stuff like that. So, and that's a lot of fire still burning because we had a lot of fires, and we didn't get a lot of rain in that. So, it's not uncommon to see the fires burn through the winter. But that number is usually around a couple dozen, like 24, not 106. So as of New Year's Day, 106 were still actively burning. In the last 10 years, there were a couple of years where it was 0, but those were years when we really didn't have much of a fire season, right? So the 2023 fire season burned more than 28,000 square kilometers of BC, breaking records and forcing thousands to escape, and hundreds of homes were destroyed. The only good news in all those fires is you don't usually get a fire in that same place for a few years. Right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and what we've heard is the number of fires that have been left to burn a little hotter than usual. It's a longer period of time. In fact, they won't see fires too, like 60 years.
So they're still hoping for a big snowpack. So hopefully that snow that's supposed to show up, tomorrow?
Yeah, tonight, tomorrow. Yeah. Well,
there you go.
All right. Well, the City of Colona, January 16th, public hearing slated for the townhouse project in Black Mountain. That's today.
There you go. There's the picture of the building there. They're looking to do a 38-unit townhouse development, and that's the lone item on the agenda today. It's Varro Developments is eyeing that for 1702 Linrick Road. And they're trying to change portion of the property from suburban multiple unit to natural area. So, yeah. So, again, you can go on colonanow.com and you can read more about that project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's something.
Yeah. Well, your pet dog is really, truly feels like a part of your family, right? And so there's been some updating to some laws around pet custody. BC Attorney General Nikki Sharma says the often difficult issue of pet custody for families going through breakups could be easier to decide with these laws that took effect on Monday.
There you go. So family law and applies now to pets. She said that changes aim to improve the process of determining ownership of pets after a separation and divorce. I think you just put the dog in the middle of the room and then
see which way they go.
The dog decide.
Right?
That's King Solomon kind of rules, right? Previously,
it kind of seems a little strange that we get right into the court system on something like this. It seems like a bit of, but on the other side, I also understand
the lawyers rubbing their hands. Sharma says pet ownership issues following a breakup were similar to those and determine how property is divided, and said the courts will now consider a person's ability and willingness to care for the animal, relationships between a child and the animal, and risks of animal cruelty will determine who gets the pet. There you go.
That's all right. Well, Check on the Roads brought to you by CSN Collision Centers. We had a Coca-Cola crash last night, which had the road closed for quite some time. Southbound lanes had remained closed at around 5:30 in the morning, but as of 6:37 this morning, the roads have opened up. Crash occurred about 11 kilometers south of the Great Bear Snow Shed. And you can find out all the latest travel information at Drive BC. Of course, check our website as well, colonanow.com.
Drive BC, your friend.
Yeah. I guess we want to check out the 5 things.
Scroll 5 things? Sure, why not? Okay. What do we got? Donald J. Trump dominates vote in the first caucus, and that was the Iowa caucus. And he won over 50% of the vote. And Vivek Ramaswamy drops out too. So
he did.
He was number 4. I think he had 7% of the vote, and he dropped out and endorsed Donald Trump.
Oh, wow.
It was what you call it, not an acceptance speech. Donald Trump had an acceptance speech, and Vivek had his farewell speech.
Okay.
You could call it, right?
Yeah.
So AI will worsen inequality and stoke social tensions, IMF warns. I think they stoke a lot of that when they lend money to countries and cause a lot of grief. That's a personal thought.
Agreed. Green Party MP resigns amid shoplifting accusations. Oh, no.
That was a Green Party in New Zealand now, after being accused of stealing items from clothing stores. Some people just think, I don't know, like, I guess they deserve it, I guess.
Or it's
I don't know.
maybe
they
just
see
a
all the stuff
kleptomania.
happening everywhere and just they think, hey, when's it getting on the action? And this is not good. More attacks in the Red Sea, leading to more tensions, and obviously going to cause some inflationary pressures again, right? As we're seeing some stuff, have a tough time, because the alternative is to go all the way around Africa or fly the stuff, right?
And the most popular YouTuber has posted their first video to X/Twitter. Have you heard of Mr. Beast?
I have. I have watched some of his stuff. He's been accused by some as, I think on the left side of the spectrum as being not good for society, but there's people on the other side of it saying he's done more good than many people. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've only watched 1 or 2 of his videos. I mean, I'm not really into that kind of stuff. So, but apparently Elon is trying to get more and more content contributors on X. Like he had one of his big wins was Tucker Carlson, which people would have said that's a far right thing, but then he just got Don Lemon. So Don Lemon, which is, you would consider him far left. Don Lemon is now publishing on X as well.
Well, I think that, to have a platform, any platform, isn't it better to have the duality of voices so that we can all learn from each other?
There was a thing I seen on Twitter, or saw on Twitter, showing news outlets and many sites, traffic dropping 25, 28, 22%, like big sites like Daily Mail and all that kind of stuff, CNN. Traffic dropping overall. Fox News is one of them, and where X traffic has gone up substantially. So, and X traffic has gone up substantially compared to the other outlets too. So people are turning to X because he is getting more content on there, right? So I imagine TikTok is still killing it though, but Sophie says, yeah. There you go.
All right. Well, let's check out our weather forecast for ATB Wealth. Realize your vision of wealth. Go to atb.com/wealth Colona. We are expecting sun and cloud throughout the day, but that'll become flurries.
So 12 to 12? I think you might have a little bit of misprint there.
Nope. It's literally, it's going to be stuck for like
just
24
like
hours.
Stuck. The range and the weather is 12, minus 12
to minus 12. That's right. And the little snowflake there means not through the day, but later tonight we'll see a flurry coming. And let's take a look.
That's the weirdest thing I've seen.
Yeah. Outside right now, as you can see, well, we've got a little bit of clear sky trying to break through, some high cloud, and we'll get a little bit of all today as things begin to build up. And this is looking out towards the west. That's towards Calgary there, one of the snow sheds, Albert's snow shed, I believe. And then that's our Coquihalla summit right there. So mixed conditions on the highways, winter for sure, but with the snow that is coming tonight and for the next few days, you're going to definitely want to take things extra careful. We do have those flurries, and as you can see, temperatures steady at minus 12. Tomorrow morning, we're going to warm up to minus 11. And then for Wednesday, as the snow, and I've got an exclamation there because there will be at times quite a bit. In fact, we have heavy snowfall warnings in effect for all of the area mountain highways and for the Okanagan as well, expecting up to 20 centimeters over the next 24 hours. We'll get down to minus 15 overnight. Then, well, as you can see, as we progress towards the weekend, Thursday, a little bit of sun, a little bit of flurries. Friday, Saturday, warming up quite a bit more, -6, -2 even for Saturday, continuing the warming trend, but with that more wet stuff.
I want to try something different. If you can go to Colona now, the website, and then go to the webcam, I want to see if we can show this. I think it's pretty cool. And we can also show people how to use some of the features on colonanow.com.
Go Sophie. Go Sophie.
So if we go to the webcam right there, and if we click on the right side, the left side of it, that little arrow that's sticking out there on the left side, right there, and then you go to time lapse, and then you wait for let's do yesterday, the 15th. Whoop, then you click there again, and then is that yesterday's?
Yeah.
Yep. And if you just click go, and then you can maximize this. If you go down to the bottom there, there you go, and you can watch. There was a spectacular sunset last night.
Oh.
And you're going to see this spectacular sunset at the end of this video. So this is a basically, I don't know if it's set to like a 20-hour time lapse, but there you go. It looks pretty cool. Is that you can see the kind of like the cold mist coming off the vehicles and stuff like that, and off the buildings. And there we go. As we open up the day, it's kind of a cool little feature, right?
Yeah, especially when we had the forest fire. You can create your own
time lapse. Even the Globe and Mail took one of our time lapse when we had the fire, because we had the fire. You could see it off the mountains on the west side there.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a spectacular sunset. I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm assuming we're going to see it.
And what is
Here's looking at you.
What's the length of this? This is about a minute and a half.
I think it's about a minute, I think. Right?
Here it goes. Things are looking darker.
There you go. There goes the sun setting there.
Look at that. Oh.
Like, you know, the sky should light up here in a second, and we should start to see some color show up. Look at that, eh?
Oh, look at that. For a moment of time.
But I think if we haven't posted any, Sophie will post something. I guess no sense posting on her Instagram, because Bill C-18 says you still can't look at it. But unless you're an American or anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
But Canadians aren't allowed to look at it. Apparently it's sensitive content. Photos of Colona. So yeah, there you go. But we can put it on TikTok or something like that, right? So did you put that on TikTok yesterday? I don't think so. I looked and I didn't see it. So there you go.
All right. I think that's our broadcast.
That's it for today.
4 o'clock, we'll be back with the news
back
headlines.
At 4 o'clock. We don't have a live stream today, do we?
Not today.
There you go. We got one tomorrow, though. So
yeah, tomorrow Dan Albus will be joining us in studio.
Yeah, so if you got questions for Dan Albus, fire him in.
All right.
And then we'll see you at 4 o'clock. Until then, enjoy your morning. And check out some of that.